Good evening. You're on local radio WMOA, AM 1490 and FM 101.3. On a Halloween night, we bring you scary stories and War of the Worlds, a tradition here at local radio WMOA. We'll begin tonight with the Marietta Times 2019 Scary Stories Contest winners. We've invited all the winners up to the radio station to record their stories, and we'll hear them all tonight. We'll begin this evening with third grader Brody Bills after this message from our sponsors.
In the jewelry business, there's only one certified master bench jeweler in the Marietta-Parkersburg area, Tony Baldwin of A.A. Baldwin's Jewelry by Design. What's that mean to you? It validates his status and expertise as a jewelry arts professional. It's not an easy certification. That's why no one else in the area can boast about it except Tony. So ask yourself, when you're ready to invest or repair your jewelry and heirlooms, would you dare take it anywhere else? Jewelry by Design, 256 Front Street, downtown Marietta.
The team of professionals at First Quality Collision Center know how important it is for them to do their work to the best of their abilities. After all, they're only human. They know that getting your vehicle repaired quickly is second only to getting the job done right, the first time. And since 2001, when Jeff Roberts and Bob Reynolds transformed Stacy's Body Shop into First Quality Collision Center, timely, dependable repairs has become their hallmark. Call 740-373-9303 for the area's best independent collision center, First Quality Collision Center. Ask them about their lifetime warranty.
Franklin Fire Equipment and Franklin Signs is located at 158 Warner Street behind Crescent and Sprague, just off Green Street. Franklin Fire Equipment sells and services fire extinguishers, installs fire suppression systems, and provides fire training for your employees at work. Franklin Signs utilizes state-of-the-art signage machines, turning out professional quality, long-lasting, visually striking signs. Call Franklin Fire and Signs at 740-373-9302. Be sure to like us and share our Facebook page, Franklin Fire Equipment Company, Incorporated.
As sure as the wind blows colder and the night grows darker, October brings a special time of year about. The crunch of leaves below the feet, the harvest moon above, and the sound of a marching band on Friday night. The family of Dr. Bill Klein is proud to sponsor the traditional rebroadcast of the classic radio tale War of the Worlds on WMOA. Also, Bill, Sue, Jessica, and Caitlin Klein take this time to congratulate the ghostwriters who get to share their stories on the radio.
Artex Oil Company takes great pride in working with landowners to provide America affordable energy, produced locally. Although Artex can trace its roots back over 50 years, it has accelerated its growth in the last 2 decades, moving to one of the top natural gas and oil producers based in the state of Ohio. Tonight, Artex Oil Company is proud to honor our young storytellers on the radio and also pay tribute to one of the great storytellers of yesteryear, Orson Welles. Artex Oil, your neighbors working locally to provide energy for America.
You're on local radio WMOA, AM 1490 and FM 101.3, the First City's first radio station, and it's time to get into these scary stories for the 2019 Scary Stories Contest winners, and we begin with a zombie attack. This is Brody Bills from Washington Elementary School.
A zombie attack. One Halloween night, there was 2 kids named Bob and Jeff. They were trick-or-treating block to block, and then a grave was dug up, and then an arm came out of the grave. They yelled at the top of their lungs to run away from the zombie. Once Bob and Jeff got to Jeff's house, they locked the doors and made a trap for the zombie. And half hour later, they heard a sound and they looked out the window. Bob and Jeff saw that the zombie fell in their hole they made for zombies to fall in. When they forgot about the zombie and fell asleep, the next day they woke up, remembered the zombie, and looked out the window, and the zombie was gone. Bob and Jeff were scared because they probably made the zombie angry, trapping but then somebody knocked at the door. Jeff opened it. It was a zombie. Bob and Jeff got scared, but the zombie just wanted some friends and some candy to eat. So they all became friends and ate lots of candies, and the zombie changed his name to Harry, and now they're best friends.
We're just getting started this evening, and we continue to our 4th grade winner, Cassie Beatonbaugh from Shenandoah Elementary. Here's The Frightening Day.
Hey, Caleb, Mom said. Hurry up, you don't want to be late for school. Okay, Caleb said, not wanting to get out of bed. Lexi was already out of bed and eating her breakfast. Caleb had finally gotten out of bed and was shoveling pancakes into his mouth. Hey, Mom, said Lexi, finishing up her breakfast. Did you know that we have a math test today? No. Did you study, I hope? Yeah, replied Lexi with a forgetful look. The children went to school. When they finally got to school and they walked to their classroom, their teacher wasn't there. When the whole class was in the room, they were surprised that their teacher wasn't there. Finally, after about 15 minutes, a teacher walked in the room. But this wasn't your typical teacher. She had long, pointy nails like a witch. She had on a pointy hat. She had a wart on the tip of her nose and even a black cat. The children were very nervous and super freaked out. The teacher spoke to the class in a very witchy way. The pupils soon found out that her name was Mrs. B. She also told the class that her adorable cat was named Tinker. Now, listen up. I am coming around to collect math homework. I hope you all did it last night. If not, you will have to be punished. Understood? Said Mrs. B in a frightening tone. Yes, ma'am, the class replied. When the teacher had gotten around to Lexi and Caleb, she said, Well, do you have it? No, they replied. I guess I'll have to punish you during recess, the witch replied, grinning. Lexi was whispering to Caleb. What are we going to do? Lexi asked nervously. I'll think of something, Caleb replied. It was soon recess time, and Caleb was still thinking, what am I going to do? When the children went to their classroom during recess, it was set up like a torture room. By now, the children were running out the door, but all of a sudden they felt something pulling them back into the classroom. You get back here right now, a voice said. The children were screaming, Ah! But before they knew it, they were tied up in a chair getting ready to be sliced in half. You will have to pay for what you did. That homework had to be done, and now you'll have to pay big time, the evil witch told them. Poor Tinker was sitting on the teacher's desk looking sympathetic. Never! The children cried. When the witch was getting ready to pull the lever, Tinker jumped up on the witch's back and clawed her half to death. While the witch was still in shock from the pain, Tinker went and bit the rope in half, and the children were free. Mrs. B saw them escape and started running down the hallway after them. Lexi, you go with Tinker while I knock the witch out with this basketball. Okay, replied Lexi, but make it quick. Caleb was hiding around the corner, and when Mrs. B saw him and was running towards him, when she approached, Caleb threw the basketball. Gotcha! You'll never find me now! You get back here! The witch shouted. The kids went home and told their parents all that had happened. Well, sounds like you guys had a big day. Heck yeah, the kids said together. And since this day, the evil, disgusting Mrs. B has never been seen. So far.
Now it's time for a little Midnight Madness from Phillips Elementary. Here's Mallory Westfall.
Midnight Madness, Mallory Westfall. Jamie was lying in her bed late on October 30th. It was 11:58 p.m., 2 minutes into Halloween. When the clock said 12 a.m., everything went dark. The lights flickered. Then at 12:01 a.m., everything was fine, except for the red stain on her white bedsheet. She didn't know what to do. Did she dare get out? She got out of bed and dashed across the hall to her parents' bedroom. Everything seemed fine except for the red stain on their light purple bedspread. She looked closer at the red stain. It was a letter. It looked like an M, but why? She needed to find out what was happening. She grabbed a flashlight and tiptoed over to her room. She looked closer at her stain. It wasn't A. She grabbed a notebook and wrote down the 2 letters. There was something red on the other piece of paper. It was the letter Y. She was confused and scared. She was about to go to her little sister Allie's room when she heard a screech. Was it the cat? No, the cat was asleep on Jamie's bed. Jamie's heart skipped a beat. She started to sweat when she saw a little girl in a poodle skirt. Could it be? No, it couldn't. Was that a ghost? She jumped up and slid into Allie's room. Allie wasn't in her bed. Where could she be? Jamie did not know what to do, so she went and looked on Allie's bed to see if there was a stain. There wasn't. Jamie started to cry. Allie and the little girl in the poodle skirt walked in. Allie asked Jamie what was wrong. Jamie walked up and gave Allie a hug and asked who the other little girl was. Allie said this was her new friend. Jamie was confused. Who was this little girl and why was she here? The girl stated her name was May. Jamie asked if May wrote her name on the beds and notepad since the letter spelled May. May admitted that she did. She claimed that the creepy things happened in Jamie's room because that used to be her room. She had died in a car wreck years ago. May said that she came back here to warn each family who lived here. Jamie was confused. Warn her family about what? May said that her family would suffer if they didn't move out by next Halloween. Jamie asked why. May turned back and said, I've said too much. May was scared and ran out of the room. Jamie tucked Allie in and went back to bed. The next morning, Jamie's parents surprised them. They would be moving closer to their grandmother, who was very old. They packed their things and left. A few months later, a company bought the house and land. They demolished the house for more land. Jamie and Allie grew older, and they never saw the little ghost again.
You're listening to Scary Stories on WMOA Local Radio, AM 1490 and FM 101.3. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll get back to the scary stories right after a word from our sponsors.
The team of professionals at First Quality Collision Center know how important it is for them to do their work to the best of their abilities. After all, they're only human. They know that getting your vehicle repaired quickly is second only to getting the job done right, the first time. And since 2001, when Jeff Roberts and Bob Reynolds transformed Stacy's Body Shop into First Quality Collision Center, timely, dependable repairs has become their hallmark. Call 740-373-9303 for the area's best independent collision center, First Quality Collision Center. Ask them about their lifetime warranty.
Franklin Fire Equipment and Franklin Signs is located at 158 Warner Street behind Crescent and Sprague, just off Green Street. Franklin Fire Equipment sells and services fire extinguishers, installs fire suppression systems, and provides fire training for your employees at work. Franklin Signs utilizes state-of-the-art signage machines, turning out professional quality, long-lasting, visually striking signs. Call Franklin Fire and Signs at 740-373-9302. Be sure to like us and share our Facebook page, Franklin Fire Equipment Company, Incorporated.
As sure as the wind blows colder and the night grows darker, October brings a special time of year about. The crunch of leaves below the feet, the harvest moon above, and the sound of a marching band on Friday night. The family of Dr. Bill Klein is proud to sponsor the traditional rebroadcast of the classic radio tale War of the Worlds on WMOA. Also, Bill, Sue, Jessica, and Caitlin Klein take this time to congratulate the ghostwriters who get to share their stories on the radio.
Artex Oil Company takes great pride in working with landowners to provide America affordable energy produced locally. Although Artex can trace its roots back over 50 years, it has accelerated its growth in the last 2 decades, moving to one of the top natural gas and oil producers based in the state of Ohio. Tonight, Artex Oil Company is proud to honor our young storytellers on the radio and also pay tribute to one of the great storytellers of yesteryear, Orson Welles. Artex Oil, your neighbors working locally to provide energy for America.
In the jewelry business, there's only one certified master bench jeweler in the Marietta Parkersburg area, Tony Baldwin of A.A. Baldwin's Jewelry by Design. What's that mean to you? It validates his status and expertise as a jewelry arts professional. It's not an easy certification. That's why no one else in the area can boast about it except Tony. So ask yourself, when you're ready to invest or repair your jewelry and heirlooms, would you dare take it anywhere else? Jewelry by Design, 256 Front Street, downtown Marietta.
Thanks for joining us for Scary Stories tonight on a 2019 Halloween night. War of the Worlds is right around the corner here on local radio as we continue a Halloween tradition for us here on top of Harmer Hill. Once again, we want to thank all the Scary Story Contest winners for coming in and recording their stories. And let's get back to it now with The Secret by Micah Beagle from Matamoros Elementary.
It was a late afternoon in October 2001. My little brother Zach, my grandma, and I just bought a house in the deep part of the woods. We were watching TV. When the TV went off, the light flickered off, and we heard a screech, screech, screech. It sounded like fingernails on a chalkboard. We knew exactly where it was coming from, the basement. Grandma announced, "Sarah and Zach, it was just a tree branch, I promise." We did not believe her one bit. "How do you explain the lights, the TV? We live in the deep part of the woods. What did you expect to happen?" Grandma screeched. It was time for us to get ready for bed. Before we went to sleep, Grandma whispered, "Please, please don't get up unless you have to, okay?" "Okay, Grandma," we shouted. It was 1 a.m. now, and I was woken up by a noise coming from the stairs. Creak, 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 creak. I figured it was just Grandma coming from the basement like she did already today. I checked to make sure Zach was still asleep in his bed. "Yep," I whispered, snug as a bug. The noise got louder, and then I heard my bedroom door creak open. I thought it was Grandma, so I hurried up and put the blanket over my head and pretended I was asleep. And then something gently touched my head, and I couldn't make the words except for, "Hi, Sarah. I missed you and Zach today. I didn't get to see you today, but you'll see me tomorrow. I promise you that." Then it was gone. Creak, creak, creak. Even its footsteps could make you want to sprint and leave your own house, leaving everything behind. The next day, I couldn't get the horrible voice out of my head. When I told Grandma, she was acting really weird. She went sprinting down to the basement. It kind of freaked me out. Grandma never sprints except when it's an emergency. We went to bed at 10 p.m., and once again, I was woken up by a strange noise, except for it was 3 a.m. now. Once I finally opened my eyes after I heard the same noise, but louder, there he was, standing there, a clown. I started sprinting down the hallway. There was a trail of blood in the hallway leading down to the basement. I knew right then and there that was Grandma and Zach's blood. I found out Grandma's secret that night. The clown was living in the basement. If you have a chance, run, hide, or you'll be his next victim. Still to this day, I wonder, why me? Why did he spare me that night? Why me?
That was our 6th grade winner for the Marietta Times Scary Stories Contest winners, and that'll take us to now the 7th grade winner and The Jersey Soul by Casey Behrens from Frontier Middle School.
The dark night before Halloween, Jake and Kayla were watching a movie at Jake's house. Even though it was so late when the movie went off, they decided to ride their bikes down to the dairy bar. While they were eating at the dairy bar, an old woman came up to them and said, "You better watch out tomorrow." Jake and Kayla looked at each other in confusion. When they looked back at the old woman, she was gone. On their way back to Jake's house, they went through the park. On one of the telephone poles, there was a vintage-looking flyer stapled to it. Jake grabbed the paper, and it started to crumble. Jake read it. Halloween Festival, October 31st, Fairgrounds at Elmsville. Kayla went to grab it, but a fierce wind took it away. When they got back to Jake's house, they told his mom about it and asked if they could go. Jake's mom said yes. After about an hour, Kayla had found out something about the festival on the internet. The only thing she could find was a story made before either of them were born. She read it out loud to Jake. October 31st, 1903, on the fairgrounds of Elmsville, a group hosted a Halloween festival. A boy, Jersey Renpley, decided to climb a telephone pole to carve his name. Once he got to the top and carved his name, he fell and died. Now the fairgrounds are haunted by his soul. Early the next morning, they decided to try to find the telephone pole at the fairgrounds. When they got to the pole, Jake started to climb. When he came down, he said, "I saw some writing at the top, but it's really hard to read since it's apparently 100 of years old. I took a picture of it so you could try to read it." Kay looked at Jake and said, "It says Jersey." Later that day, they returned to the fairgrounds, but they didn't see anything. They turned around and headed back to the dairy bar. They sat down in a booth and was talking when the old lady came in again and said, "Wrong time, come again tonight." Then she left. Kayla looked at Jake and said, "Tonight." As the sun began to set, they rode into the festival and went on a Ferris wheel they saw. The Ferris wheel jolted to a stop once they got to the top. After a moment of silence, something jumped in front of them. It looked like a human figure. Jake was so frightened he could only say one word, "Jersey." The creature grabbed Jake and took him. Then the Ferris wheel started up again, and Kayla got off and reached the bottom. She started to run away when she felt something grab her shoulder. She turned to see the creature right behind her. It grabbed her and took her away into the unknown darkness along with Jake. After a few years, the police finally closed off the fairgrounds. Once they were taped off, almost everyone forgot what happened that Halloween night, but the Jersey Soul never forgot.
Finally tonight, we wrap up the 2019 Scary Stories with The New Year's Shadow by Natalie Macu from Marietta Middle School.
Every 100 years, something peculiar happens. It happened in 1320, 1420, 1520, and all the way up to 1920. A shadow comes through and murders an entire species. Occasionally, one animal survives, and today we have found the secretly hidden story of a Kenai Peninsula wolf from 1920. She was only 3 at the time. When I was a really young wolf cub, on a chilly day you humans call New Year's Day, my friend stuck me in a hole. My evil sister Zuzu was trying to cover me in all the extra snow that got in our den, so that it covered everything but my eyes and my nose. A little while after I became a snow cub, it started to get dark. I was surrounded by our secret little lamps, which humans will never know about, when my friends and my sister left, probably to jump on me from behind. The moment they touched the shadows, they vanished. I couldn't see any part of them, not their warm golden coats or their black tail tips. I was so scared I didn't move for hours. I know, not the most heroic survival, but it worked anyway. Sometime within those many hours, I saw an extra dark shadow out of the corner of my eye. It was pitch black, long, and seemingly just another shadow, but something about it just felt off. That's when it floated up in the air, and I heard all the wolves' howls coming from it as it drifted away behind the moon. Now what happened to those wolves? We don't know how they died, but we found their bones scattered all over the Kenai Peninsula. Nobody knows who will be wiped out next, but we will find out very soon. 2020 is coming with the New Year's shadow.
That concludes the Marietta Times Scary Stories for the 2019 season. Once again, we would like to thank Natalie, Casey, Micah, Mallory, Cassie, and Brody for coming in to the radio station and recording their stories for all to enjoy. If you would like to hear this production again, find us on Facebook, WMOA, WJAW, where you can find a recorded version there. Now we move on to another Halloween tradition here on local radio, the 1938 Mercury Theater presentation of The War of the Worlds.